Welcome to Verbier, Switzerland, home of the Enduro2 race, one of the most unique enduro races out there. I thought in this video today we'll take a look at all the kit and equipment needed to tackle such an event. The bike then that myself and my partner in crime will be tackling this epic 3-day race on is the Orbea Rallon, the brand new one, full carbon enduro big mountain bike. Now obviously it looks very much like a downhill bike because it shares the same beating heart, but this version is a 170mm rear, 180mm travel enduro rig with the built-in frame storage. This thing is designed to eat up the big mountain riding that we'll be tackling. Now, the beauty of this is that there is quite a lot of setup options in their gravity link, so you can change wheel size, but also in its high and low positions and its progressivity. Now, both of us are actually running fairly similar setups. I'm on an XL, Tom's on a large, but when it comes to the position that we have our shock in, we're in low and progressive, like I said, full 29er as well. And we have the Fox live valve shock as well. It's that electronic rear shock with the sensors on the brake calipers that detect any impacts and the speed and the pitch that your bike is at, so it can firm up the shock in the blink of an eye, should we say. One other slight subtle difference between our setups as well is the fact that you can add a weight to this bike down around the bottom bracket area here. I actually have taken that off completely, but I do have a frame chock-a-block full of stuff, which we'll get to. Tom's opted to keep the weight on. He's rides a heavier bike as his normal bike is daily, if you like. So he actually finds that having that weight on makes it feel kind of similar. Moving on to the front of the bike, a Fox 38 is there with 180mm, as I said. 95 PSI, 2 tokens in the left-hand side of that. I'm about 85, now probably about 90 kilos kitted, so that's what works best for me. Up top, we've got a 760mm wide bar, XTR brakes front and rear with the 4 pots running a 203mm rotors, very short stem on there with the Garmin mounted above it. I've got a little nice top cap mount there which the Garmin Edge MTB is mounted to. Before, I forgot to mention as well that the headset has got angle set adjustment in it, so you can move it 0.75 plus or minus, making it steeper or slacker by 1.5 in total. Mine's actually in the steeper setting to compensate for the lower position it is on the linkage. Tires and wheels. Now this is crucial when it comes to those big mountain things. So what I opt for is FSA's Gradient new I30 full carbon wheel set. It's a 30mm internal and it's hookless. So once you get that big old tire in there, and I'm running 2.6s front and rear, I like the real sort of nice rounded shape that it gives to it. Real good footprint contact patch on the floor. And talking of tires, it's a Vittoria Mazza front and rear combo. Enduro Race on the front, Enduro on the rear. About 23 PSI up front, 25 PSI out back, but it has got a Airliner, Vittoria Airliner insert in the rear, just because when you're giving it that back wheel love, it just takes a fair bit of impact. Back into the middle of the bike, dropper post is a monstrous affair. 240mm Fox transfer dropper post. Ergon ex-Enduro-Pro tie on the saddle, and actually it's the Ergon GDH teams when it comes to the contact points for grips as well. They're a bit of a fatter grip. I go for the bigger grip. I've got quite big hands, so a chunkier grip just sort of reduces arm pump for me because I find my hands not wrapping around the grip as much and as tight. Like I said, 240mm drop. And in the middle of the bike, I mentioned it earlier, that frame storage, the Lock-R. Let's have a look in there. So the essentials in the bike, a toe peak multi-tool, the Rocket Ratchet DX Plus. Now this little bad boy is pretty substantial. There's tyre levers, chain tool, every kind of Allen key bit in there that I could possibly need to fix the bike. Now me and Tom, obviously we're racing in pairs, so we don't need to pick multiples of things. So we're gonna work out exactly who's got what, and that means we can save a bit of weight and save a bit of space. A 29-inch tube, definitely need one of those. And then in here, we got us a few other spares as well. This kind of little pouch that comes with the bike houses CO2, the converter. I've actually got these toe peak power levers in here. So these double up as like a power link splitter and tire levers. And I've got obviously spare chain links that I need in here as well for mine and Thomas's chain. Like I said, O2 canister, tubeless plugs, inflator, There's pretty much everything in there that I'm gonna need almost to get out of a straight emergency, but there is more in my backpack, which we'll get to later. But anyway, back to the bike. Let's talk gearing now, because although there's a lot of lift assisted in the race, you still got to do a lot of pedaling as well. On my bike, I've got the full SRAM EXO group set, 1052 out back, 32 chainring up front. On the end of those cranks, we've got the Crank Brothers Enduro pedals with the LS, the longer spindle in them, just to set my foot away from the cranks a little bit more. Full wireless setup, obviously, as well going on here. Now, this is where mine and Tom's differ slightly. He's running a full Shimano XTR, the new XTR group set, in fact. And he's gone for the 945 out back with the short cage rear mech. So obviously he's got a little bit more clearance here, but he hasn't got the range. We'll have to see how that plays out in the race, which, if you want to watch, head over to GMBN where that video will be live. Rear tyre, as I said, it's actually a 2.4, not a 2.6 as I said about earlier, so I apologise there, but it has got the insert in, 25 PSI, and that pretty much sums up the bike. So what about what I'm going to wear and take? When it comes to kit and clothing, and what you take in your pack, if you do take a pack, is absolutely crucial on such long days. So here's exactly what I like to wear on these kind of things. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. Footwear is Shimano's GE9 shoes. They're kind of a BOA system and Velcro combo. They're stiff, but not too stiff. They've got a good bit of grip on them, so if you were to unclip, you can ride on the cage of that pedal nice and easy. And they got a bit of protection around the toes and the ankle as well. Normal socks, you don't really need to see those. GMBN pants, good Techers pants. They got these kind of perforated holes for breathability, just to keep you nice and protected. I like riding in trousers all year round, winter or summer. I just feel a little bit more protected. And they're quite fitted, so you haven't got big baggy trousers no more. Bluegrass knee pads underneath that. Knee pads are mandatory here, so you got to keep those knees protected. Plus, on such big gnarly stages, it's not worth taking the risk without. You might be thinking, Rich, you're in a different top, and that's because a cotton t-shirt is just too hot to race in. So we've got a Tech t-shirt here. This might go into a long sleeve on race day, depending if it's hotter and or colder. There's a little bit more going on under the t-shirt than you think as well. Not in that kind of way. No, I like to keep track of my stats. So I wear the Garmin HRM Pro Plus, which is synced up to the Edge MTB head unit. That way I can keep track of my stats all the time and just kind of see how my body's doing, especially as we're at altitude as well. Now, back protectors are also mandatory as well. So I've got this, the Armour Light from Bluegrass as well. It's actually capable to take a H2O, a bladder in the back of it. So if I don't want one in my backpack, which we'll get to in a mo, I can actually put it in here, and it's got a little pocket to stash things in as well. But back protectors mandatory. So moving on up. Full face also kind of mandatory here as well. You'd be crazy not to wear one when it's really gnarly big mountain riding like this. So this is the Bluegrass Legit. It's the MIPS version. I got some Smith goggles on there as well with the tinted lenses. All the action, of course, will be caught on the Insta360 tucked neatly under the peak as well. It's a real good sort of fully certified downhill lid, which I feel really confident in. And me and Tom are wearing very similar get-ups as well. But what about that backpack? What do I take in terms of spares and when it comes to nutrition? Now, I'm not a big backpack kind of guy. I like to keep it fairly minimal and freedom of movement quite high. So I've gone for the lightest weight one that Camelback make. It's their Chase Force. It's a 4-litre backpack. It's got a 1.5-litre reservoir in it if I do choose to use that. I've got a bottle on the bike, so I may switch between the two. We'll sort of see how we feel. There are water stops. But in here is sort of the bare essentials. There is, in fact, another tube tucked down there, but I really like TPU one. I've got a few snacks in there as well. Now, I always carry a couple of bars and some sort of like jelly shots like this because emergency situations. There are zip ties in here. We've also got an actual pump. Now, I had CO2 as you saw earlier, but if I use the CO2, what am I going to do? Well, I've got a pump as well. Pressure gauge, kind of, a weird one, but actually setting the right pressures. It doesn't take up much space, so it doesn't really bother me too much. Duct tape, you can never go wrong with duct tape. And let me just fish in here. A spare access battery. And Tom will take a spare XTR battery in his because, well, you just never know. It can die, it can get knocked off, you could smash it, whatever. It literally takes up barely any space, so it's a real simple thing to have. And that's pretty much it as far as what I've got. I mean, it's a timed event, so I'll keep an eye on it using my Fenix watch, but otherwise, that's pretty much all you need to tackle such a big mountain multi-day event like Enduro2 here in Verbier. Let me know, would you do anything different? Would you carry more, carry even less potentially? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Don't forget the full race video of how me and Tom got on is over on GMBN now. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.